بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد أحبتي في الله، نعيش مع كتاب الله مع آيات من سورة النازعات مع قوله سبحانه: قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة أئذا كنا عظاما نخرة. These ayat, number 8 and the following one from Surah Al-Nazi'at, and the simple meaning for this was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Exalted said, hearts that day will tremble, their eyes humbled. They are presently saying, will we indeed be returned to our former state of life, even if we should be the seed pawns? في هذه الآيات المولى سبحانه وتعالى يتناول قضية مهمة، وهي قضية البعث والنشور والحياة بعد الموت. وفي الحقيقة هي هذه قضية الإيمان، لأن من لا يؤمن بالحياة بعد الموت لا حاجة له أن يتبع أي تعاليم. فالذي يؤمن بالحياة بعد الموت هو الذي يستعد لذلك ويعمل لذلك. ولذلك غالب السور المكية تتناول هذا الموضوع، تجد إشارة لهذا الموضوع، وإما في بعض الحالات تجد ربما السورة كلها تتناول هذا الموضوع. وهذه السورة والسورة السابقة لها واللاحقة هذا الموضوع موضوع أساسي في هذه الآيات. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing the important issue related to life after death, related to our resurrection. And that's important matter. And that's why you see that more often being addressed, especially in the surahs that revealed in Mecca. Most of the surahs that are revealed in Mecca, there's kind of attachment to that, if not actually the whole chapter talking about this. And simply because of, if somebody not believing in that we have a return, he will not care about any set of belief. He will not going to care about any religion. He will have no practice. Basically, why even have to practice and follow directions if all of that will be useless and no accountability? So it's important that how it started from there. And maybe actually that's one of the questions that you hit those disbelieving when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tried to tackle this issue with them. The moment that they believe that they're going to be stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're going to be resurrected, the moment that might adjust themselves. So it's a very important subject. And there are different ways how to believe in that. As being created from dust, where example of that, we see the bones of the seeds after a while will be turned to dust. If an old grave, you open it, you'll find just dust in there. And we're created from that, and we're going back to this, and we're going to be resurrected from that. منها خلقناكم وفيها نعيدكم ومنها نخرجكم تارة أخرى. And now think of it, which one it's harder state? To bring you back after being created, or create you in the first place? If they believe that, that we create him from nothing and from the first place, that's a harder way, then it's very possible that we bring you back from something. So it is important that to have that type of belief. There's one, he tried to make himself like funny and use it, that philosophy. He said, okay, imagine if you died and nothing will happen. There's no ba'ath, there's no resurrection. There is no Jannah and Nar. So what you are doing is useless. Your salah, your siyam is useless. That's what he thinks. So the other person actually told him, imagine the opposite. Imagine if you died and then you'll be resurrected and you'll find Jannah and Nar, hellfire and paradise there. For me, at least I'm doing something good. I'm not losing anything. I'm beautify my life. But you're going to regret where it's too late. So sometimes people thinking in the wrong way, and these ayat bringing people back to think in a logical way. وجوه قلوب يومئذ واجفة أبصارها خاشعة يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة أئذا كنا عظاما نخرة. So what? Even you being like deceived bones. So what? Does that mean it's harder than to be restricted from in that situation than the first situation? It's not the case. So you need iman, taslim, and logic. The philosophies, and those people thinking of the logic, and aside from iman, that might not actually bring them to the right direction. We know, in the nation Greek history, where there are many philosophers are smart, but they couldn't find the set of belief because they need guidance. They're not only dependent on your mind and your logic. Your logic has to be guided by the revelation. And that's what the most important things. Now, what's make us believe in the day of resurrection? Because we believe in all the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's set proof that all authentic and correct. And if somebody that shows all the proof that he has the power and all what he said is authentic, so what make other word of him that's not authentic? So it has to be built based on belief and trust. Otherwise, all negative thoughts and doubts might come to your mind, and that's poison your thoughts. So again, any logic not comes from the right source, that actually is not the right way of thinking. And that's why the mantiq, which the logic, even some scholars, some of them debate, is that actually something we should study and learn, So some of them, they said, no, it's not right. Some of them, they said, yeah, rest, that's fine. And some, they came with the right way. They said, وَالْقَوْلَةُ الْمَشْهُورَةُ الصَّحِيحَةُ جَوَازُهُ لِكَامِلِ الْقَرِيحَةِ. That the authentic opinion about that is permissible for the one has the ability. Because if you don't have the ability and guidance, that logic, it might take you really in the wrong directions. You see the philosophy, like nowadays, instead of bringing you back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, take you away. Why? Because that was not guided by Allah. And subhanallah, all of those doubts that comes from that. Free thought. No, our thought being guided by the Sharia and by the teaching of our beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. يقولون أئنا لمردودون في الحافرة أئذا كنا عظاما نخرة. So that argument, it's useless when you be lightened by the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us all, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the best of understanding. Ameen. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.